This lesson is on solving one and two-step equations. We're going to start with one step with addition and subtraction. We know that if we are solving an equation that involves addition, we have to perform the inverse operation. The inverse operation of addition is subtraction. So to get rid of this positive 6 or this plus 6, I'm going to do a subtract 6 or a negative 6. Okay. On the left side, I'm left with y, because 6 minus 6 is 0, and 9 minus 6 is 3. Again, inverse operation. Subtract 3 from both sides. I'm left with x equals 1 take away 3 is negative 2. Number 3, I have a plus 4, so I want to do a minus 4. These are one step. There's one thing that I'm doing. So I'm left with a equals negative 3 minus 4 more is negative 7. Okay. I have a 14 plus m. I don't want to subtract m. This is technically a positive 14, so I want to get rid of it with a negative 14 because I'm trying to get my variable by itself. So I'm left with m equals 6. And then we have some sort of brief written description. The sum is a keyword, sum means plus, of a number. If I see a number, I learn, and I don't know what the number is, but I'm going to call that my variable. That's x. And, okay, so this is the sum of that number and 3. So this is what's happening between them. Here's my 3. Is my equals number, negative 2. So let's write that out. The sum of a number, okay, so my number is x, and there's that and, that plus 3 is or equals negative 2. To solve it, inverse operation, subtract 3 from both sides. X equals negative 2 minus 3 more is negative 5. The number is negative 5. If I'm solving equations involving subtraction, the inverse of subtraction is addition. Add 2 to both sides. I'm left with x equals 1 plus 2 is 3. Add 3 to both sides, trying to get that variable all by itself. Y equals 7. Add 4 to both sides. Cancels out. R equals negative 2, but I'm going to add 4 to it, so I'm going to get a positive 2. Different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of a larger number. Negative 9 equals q minus 8. Add 8. Cancels out. I'm left with q equals negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. And now I'm going to do a word problem. If you decrease a number by 4, decrease meaning subtract, a number, I don't know what that a number is, that's going to be my x, by 4, the result, or the answer, is negative 5. So if I'm decreasing, this looks like an equal sign, that should be subtraction. X decreased by 4. The result or the answer is negative 5. To solve, I'm going to add 4. X equals negative 1. Okay. One step involving multiplication or division. Again, what operation's happening if they're sitting side by side? That's multiplication. So I'm going to inverse means to divide. Divide by 4. I'm trying to get rid of the coefficient. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 equals z. Okay, dividing by negative 8. not just 8. I gotta get rid of the negative also. Okay, I'm left with G equals -3. Trying to get this E by itself, divide by -6. Left with E equals -5. Divide by -9. Getting whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. I'm left with H equals 8. And we got a word problem. The product of a number. So product means multiply of a number. I don't know what that number is. We'll call it X. And 5 is or equals -35. Okay? So I don't know what the number is, but it's X times 5. So I can say times 5, but like this. But more often we don't see it like this. We see it as like what we have up here. 5x is, and then -35. To solve, I'm going to inverse of multiplication, which is division. X equals -7. And then involving division down here. Number 6, x is being divided by 4, so to get rid of it, the inverse is to multiply by 4. X is 28. We're being divided by -6, so I'm going to multiply by -6. Okay, m equals -36. Multiply by 2. I'm trying to get rid of whatever's with the variable. R equals -24. And then this one, number 9, I need to multiply by -3. G equals 15. -15 times -3 is +45. Good. And the word problem. The quotient, meaning division, we know that, of a number, that's my unknown value, x, and -4 is 5. So what has to come first? The variable divided by -4 is 5. Okay, so my inverse operation is to multiply by that -4, and I'm left with x equals -20. And the last thing that we're going to look at are two-step problems, two-step equations. Again, this is still a review. Okay, I think of it as a two-step equation as having my best friend who I'm inseparable with. That means it's hard for us to separate. And my associate, an acquaintance, somebody I know, but not my best friend. So here, I'm the variable, and I have my best friend 3 and my associate +2. See me? We're really close right here. We're really tight. So I need to, if I'm going to kick somebody out of my circle, which is not a good thing, by the way, I'm going to get rid of my acquaintance or somebody I really don't know rather than my best friend. So I'm going to get rid of this +2 by subtracting 2. Okay? I'm left with 3x equals 21. Last step, there's multiplication, so divide by 3. X is 7. Same thing here. Here's my acquaintance and my best friend. So I'm going to add 7 to get rid of that associate. I'm left with -2y equals 10. Last step is to divide by -2. Don't forget to divide by the negative. Okay, left y equals -5. Number 3, here's my associate -8. I'm going to add 8 to get rid of them. I'm left with -3n equals 15. Divide by -3. N equals negative 5. Okay. Here, a little bit different. Here, I still have my associate where, adding or subtracting is what's holding us together. But here's my best friend. I'm being divided by that negative 2. So that's still going to be the last thing that I'm doing. So I'm going to subtract 7. So k over negative 2 equals 3. And then multiply is the inverse of division. Multiply by negative 2. K is left on that side, and it equals negative 6. So now we have some word problems. 3 more than the product of a number and 4 is 15. I'm going to do the things that I see first. Okay, here's my number 3. I see my number 4. This is always going to be my equal sign. I know that. And then 15. So if all else fails, I know that the answer is or equals 15. Okay? Then I'm going to look at the other operation words. More than. What is super important here is it doesn't mean 3 plus. It means something plus 3. Okay? So I need something and then plus whatever this was up in front of it. Okay? So that means to switch the order of those numbers. So I'm going to have something plus 3. It's more than, what is this? This is what it's asking. What is this happening first? Okay? So the product of a number, we know that a number means variable, and 4, so times x times 4, or 4x, and then the plus 3 equals 15. So I'm going to subtract 3. 4x equals 12, divide by 4, x equals 3. 5, less than, there's that key again, we're switching the spots of whatever's happening. 3 times a number is, and then 1. So I have is 1, and I know it to be 5 less than that, so minus 5, and it's 3 times a number. I don't know what that is, so it's 3x. So I'm going to add 5, so 3x equals 6, divide by 3, x equals 2. The product of a number, of 2 and a number, so product meaning multiply, 2 and a number, so 2x, is increased by, this whole thing's increased by 9, and the result is negative 17. Okay, so what I'm going to do is subtract 9 from both sides. So I'm left with 2x equals negative 26. Divide by 2, x is negative 13. If you subtract 3 from twice a number, I like this twice a number, that means 2 times a number, and I don't know what that is, so we're going to call it x. So 2x, but I'm subtracting 3 from this. So 2x minus 3, the result is 25. So add 3, getting rid of that associate first. 2x equals 28. Divide by 2. X is 14. And that is the lesson on solving 1- and 2-step equations.